Nobody cares about your philosophy if it only exists in theory. Nobody cares about your philosophy if it only exists in theory. So, in other words, practice what you preach. There was a time where I was in high school, and in high school, it was all about social scoring, looking cool, looking the best you could, and actually being the best that you could, all for the sake of social scoring. Your opinion mattered to others just as much as their opinion mattered to you. So you try to do your best both by yourself but also by other people. So as some of you may know, there was a time where I wanted to be a professional athlete, a professional soccer player. We call it football over here, but I'm going to say soccer for the sake of inclusivity. So I wanted to be a professional soccer player, right? And I had dreams to do that. I was trying to build my skill set every single day, but I wasn't quite to the level where I needed to be at. So I was training, and then I hear there's school trials for the soccer team going on after school. So of course I attend that, and I'm speaking to people. I'm talking about how I've improved, how I'm the top goal scorer at my local club, and how things are looking good for me, and how I've even got scouts. I actually told people that I was actively being scouted and pursued by 2 professional soccer teams. And looking back at it now, I'm cringing so hard at the fact that I said what I said and I did what I did. But once again, you're young, you want validation, and social scoring is very important because everybody wants to be popular in high school, right? So I told 1 or 2 people, and those 1 or 2 people decided to play Chinese whispers. By the time 5 minutes had passed, the whole locker room found out and started asking questions. And of course, I answered these questions, bigging myself up, saying, yeah, I did this, and yeah, I did that, and yeah, I'm the top goal scorer, and all of that stuff. So then we go out to play 7 versus 7, and it's my time to perform. So we're about 7 minutes in, and I think I'm playing pretty well. However, I start to notice something. The coaches aren't watching my game. They've been fixated on this one guy, and this one guy just so happens to play for a professional academy, and his brother just so happens to be a professional soccer player. So all eyes were on him, and all eyes were on that game. Not one coach for the half an hour that we were out there watched the game where I was playing. And of course my ego was in the clouds back then. I thought to myself, I'm better than everybody on this pitch. I've scored a couple of goals. I've assisted a couple of goals. Surely I should be getting some kind of attention. So I take the time to come off the pitch and asked if I could be subbed in to the other pitch where the coaches were watching. Then they tell me, well, come watch your game in about 5 minutes. So I go back onto my pitch and I play to my best standard. However, I still don't get chosen. So after the trials are done, they confirm who they're about to choose. Of course, I wasn't amongst that bunch who did get chosen. So I went back to the locker rooms pretty disappointed, and I guess I had a lot of people clown on me after all that big talk that I was putting up. But one thing I will say is that experience wasn't wasted because I did learn something from it. Don't talk the big game if you can't play the big game. A lot of people, they're willing to talk, and it's very easy to talk. I'm talking right now. I've talked for the past 180 videos. I don't know how many videos I've put out there, but I think it's 180 videos. If I don't show follow through on anything that I'm saying, then I'm a fraud. And frauds eventually get found out, just like I got found out on that football field. I didn't get chosen, and clearly there were better players than me. And I think that's one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had, just getting found out for not being as good as I thought I was. And I think a lot of you are going to go down that route if you keep on talking the big talk with absolutely nothing to show for it. If you don't have any evidence backing up the things that you're saying, then why speak? Especially if you have a grand new idea. I've been guilty of doing this 1,000 times over, but I'll tell people about my plans, about my ideas, and in my mind, it feels like I've already accomplished them, even though I haven't done anything. I'll receive all this praise, get told how smart I am, how good the idea is, and then I won't show follow through. And a few months down the line, these people won't really care about the idea that you had because you didn't put it into practice. Social scoring, it doesn't just stop after high school life. It carries on into your adult life. This is why you can meet people who are just like this. They will tell you about their grand plans, but they will never show follow through. They will remain the same. They will stay stagnant. So long as you continue to tell people, you will remain stagnant. I thought about 2 years ago that I'd matured so much past my high school days. And I told my friends about some business idea that I had. And they told me about how great it was. And I thought to myself, yeah, it's a pretty good idea. And now that I've got their confirmation, it's an even better idea. I thought that I was doing that for myself, but realistically, I wasn't. I was doing it for validation and social scoring. Doing it to show how great I am. Doing it to improve the version of me that they had in their heads. All because of validation. And as a human being, right, validation is something that you'll never be able to get rid of. At least your cravings for validation, I should say. You will never be able to get rid of your cravings for validation. However, you should be very careful at whose validation you actually value. Because this thing of chasing validation from the masses, it's a huge disservice to yourself. It really is. And it's destructive. It's destructive in the long run. So I would say the focal point of this video, what I've articulated here, is that you need to respect yourself a whole lot more. You really do. Because you can't continue to go on like this. You can't preach and then not practice. You can't betray yourself continually. Because there will come a time where you lose faith in yourself completely. And it will be much harder to get out of that hole than the hole that you're currently in. So yeah, that's today's video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. Share to a friend or family member who you think may need to see and hear this video. And if you guys want to join a community full of like-minded people on the path of self-development, then I'll leave a link down below to the Kaizen Club. Of course, you can join. Love to have all of you in there. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care and God bless.